DAO Watch episode 11. And in this episode, we cover the usual three suspects, which is Dash, then PIVX, and then Evmos. And our guest DAO for this episode is the mighty Aavegotchi. Aavegotchi is an NFT game based around DeFi and, interactions, but it's built off the back of Aave, who we featured in the last DAO Watch episode 10. So in this episode, which is episode 11, we're going to be looking at Aavegotchi, which is probably one of the most interacted with or engaged DAOs that there are built on the Ethereum / Polygon network. So yeah, enjoy. Please remember, like and subscribe and all that other good stuff. Share, blah, blah, blah. Peace. Hello and welcome to DAO Watch episode 11. Cracking through the episodes now, and today I'm really looking forward to the projects that we've got lined up. We've got Dash, we've got PIVX, we've got Evmos as usual, and our guest DAO this episode is going to be Aavegotchi. Now, Aavegotchi is let's call it a spin-off from the well-known Aave decentralized finance protocol, which we covered in the last episode. With Aavegotchi, it is also one of the top DAOs. I recently found this project called The Pass, which kind of like highlights all the DAOs and gives you quite interesting stats on how the DAOs are doing, how many followers they have on Twitter, what chain they're on, treasury, how much is their treasury, how many proposals they have, etc., or how many proposals they've had altogether, I should say, how many people are voting, blah, blah, blah. So Aavegotchi is here in 14th, which is pretty good going. It's here in 14th. It's got a decent sized treasury, 22 million. No, that can't be right. Well, that is right. It's got a decent size treasury of 22 million. Shows what tokens they have. 8 million of ETH on Polygon, 7 million of DAI on ETH, 6.5 million of DAI on Polygon. Then they got some of their own token. Then they've got a small bit of USDC. Now there was some talk about them moving out of DAI after it depegged a few weeks ago. Anyway, excuse me. Pardon me. Anyway, so we'll come back to that Aavegotchi later, and we'll look at a proposal that they've got on there. It's like an NFT type project, so it's really interesting, really exciting DAO. They have their weekly calls on Sundays at 2:00 UK time. UK is 5 hours ahead of East Coast time, 1 hour behind Central European time. So if you are more interested in them, you can follow them. I will put a link to this project, as I always do, in the description. Anyway, let's get started. Dash, as per usual. Now, last episode, I did get some, I won't say hate mail, but I did get a talking to from some developers because I was being my usual antagonistic self and going after developers unnecessarily. So this month, let's go after marketers, shall we? So we got this proposal, which is about Dash Marketing Hub collaborating with Brave browser. For those of you that don't know, Brave browser is, I believe it's a fork possibly of Chrome. However, their unique selling point is that they pay you to watch adverts, and they include a load of crypto stuff, like they've got their own wallets, etc. And one of the things that they're also doing is they're allowing projects to pay to advertise on there. It's called a Brave advertising campaign. Now, these guys, led by the Desert Lynx, who I often interact with on Twitter, they've put forward a proposal to promote Dash and Maya. Maya is a DEX forked from Thorchain, which will allow people to seamlessly move between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash. I don't know what other ones they're doing. Either way, so this fork is friendly. Thorchain, I guess I can say they turned hostile. I'm going to say it. It might be wrong. If it's wrong, let me know in the comments below. But I believe Thorchain was supposed to include Dash, and the code was paid for, and for whatever reason now, let's not get into specifics. Thorchain are looking to not include Dash. So Dash have gone with Maya, which is a fork of Thorchain, and for all intents and purposes will be a much better project, let's just say. So Dash gets featured on this Maya project, and to celebrate, they want to promote the entire happenings on Brave, maybe build some tutorials, things like that, so that people know how to move their Dash between Dash and Bitcoin, or between Bitcoin and Dash easily on this Maya protocol. Now, how much do they want? They want $20,000 US dollars. They will be making a professional video showcasing the integration and instructing users on how to use Dash on the Maya DEX. And there'll be a Twitter space with the Maya team highlighting the partnership to both communities. And they're requesting 525 Dash total, split over 3 months. So 525 Dash, I believe I think it works out to be a little bit more than 20 grand. But let's see. In the extremely unlikely event they officially announced integration falls through, which it did with Thorchain, we will put these funds towards a future Brave campaign. Key targets coming up this year, for which we plan to do Brave campaigns in the future, including the relaunch. Okay. Yeah, so they want to take some money to do a advertising campaign on Brave. Now, let's do this the way we usually do. What we'll do is we'll usually do discuss the pros and the cons. So the pros for this particular, the main pro I would say would be that advertising is pretty much essential. Letting more and more people know about Dash who may not know about Dash. Maybe they're just using Maya, and the other guys like Bitcoin haven't got a tutorial, or whichever other tokens they have may not have a tutorial. The first tutorial they may see may be Dash, and they might be like, okay, well, fair enough. It's a top 100 coin. It's been around for a long time. They're OGs, and they made a nice tutorial. Let me find out more about this project. Let me get in. I like this. Let me go and get involved in this project. And I think for those reasons, it may open up doors to a lot of people who aren't necessarily interested in Dash already. So I think that's one of the main positives. Another one is, in light of the USDC and DAI depegging, a lot of people who do have crypto now would like to move between their altcoin and Bitcoin in particular, or Ethereum secondarily, as a store of value, because they don't want to store it in these stable coins anymore. I think that a project like Maya being released now, it is happening in perfect timing, because a lot of these people may not want to move their funds to an exchange, KYC reasons, or for whatever, privacy reasons, for whatever other reasons. So being able to use a DEX like Maya, I think would be really good. So Dash being on there, I think is critical, and then advertising it, I think it's perfect timing. About as close to perfect timing as you can get. We're just at the start of another bull run. So that's another one of the pros. Now the cons I would say are quite similar to a project or a proposal we looked at a few months ago in PIVX, where they wanted to pay for a new front end for another DEX. And the crux of the argument was, why are we paying to advertise them, or why are we paying to build for them? Now, if there is a proposal to highlight a tutorial for Dash on Maya, that will be as much of an advertisement for Maya as it will be for Dash. Now, to that point, are Maya helping towards this proposal? Are they chipping in any money? Now, according to this, well, there's no mention that there are. So it does seem like the Dash people are paying to promote themselves, but at the same time they're paying to promote Maya, and Maya aren't contributing. I would see that's a little bit of a negative point towards the proposal. There's no discussion of Maya users or Maya the project contributing. There's no discussion on that. There's no discussion of that at all in the proposal. The proposal is also pretty short, but it does include a report with an analysis from a previous ad campaign, click-through rate, etc., how many impressions there were, over 1 million. They spent $500 for I don't know, was it 30 days, I guess. $500 for 30 days, give or take. No, that's not 30 days. Well, I can't do the maths anyway. So they just, I think this is really good. This was a really nice touch that the reporting from the last time they'd done a ad campaign has been added here. So we've got a rough idea of what we expect to see from this next ad campaign. Possibly we might get better numbers because advertising dollars are in short supply. So your dollars may go a bit further. Shorter supply than they were a few months ago, for obvious reasons. Economic slowdown in the tech sector, let's say, right? We had the bank closed down the other day, so we're expecting your advertising dollars to go a little bit further now. So we're looking at something like over let's say 1.3 to 1.4 million impressions. Dismissals, I don't think you want that number to be high. I'm assuming that's bounce rate. Anyway, it's nice that he's added this report from the last time, and it's good that he made this report for the last time. And even in this report, he does say that in the future, he does want to do other campaigns, and true to his word, he has come forward with another campaign. Okay, let's see what the community are saying. Amanda B. Johnson, we all know who she is. I like this idea, and I wish you would do it with the funds you are already receiving, have received. Hit a home run with what you have, and everyone will rush to give you more. If your belief is that regular marketing uppers don't currently request enough funding, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I disagree with this. I think if you're saying what you want the money for and you're asking for more money, then yeah, go ahead and do it. I think the reason why this should be possibly funded separately is because it's a little bit more of a controversial proposal. I think if he did just go ahead and spend the money on something else, people might turn around and say, well, what's in it for you? Imagine if he owns Maya, then people are going to really get in their feelings about it. So I'm glad that he did ask. So here we go. They did still hit a home run, and now they're asking for more. Everyone should approve this one. Ongoing hub approach. Continue to design request find a spirit market such as the one you were just here. I don't know. I'm with this still can't stop or solar guy. I'm with him on this one. I think that they've done it before. They've said they're gonna do it again. They've come and done it again. They've asked for the funds. People can decide based on what they've done before whether or not to give them the money again, and I guess they will. The money that they do already have in their coffers for the marketing team, I don't think should go towards these type of advertising campaigns. I think they should go towards more maybe everyday advertising campaigns, more generic ones, and obviously to pay staff, to pay for graphics, to pay for, I don't know, meetings or whatever, all that good marketing stuff. So yeah, so for me, I'm going to to vote yes on this one. I think this is one of Desert Link's better, one of his better proposals. It's although it's a little bit short. The fact that he's included what he'd done before, I think, kind of really makes up for it. It's nice. It's we can call it concise as opposed to just short. And and it seems like it's not one with a lot of detractors. One of the detractors down here is detraction has not been received very well. As you can see, you got -1 point, which means just like Reddit scores, the way this site works is if you agree with what he says, you can upvote it. Even if you disagree, but you find it useful, you should still upvote it. And if you disagree or you find it not useful, you should downvote it. And what he said is, my protocol has got 93 members in their subreddit and 5,000 followers on Twitter. I like the idea of pushing Dash and DeFi. I don't like DAO funds being used to provide the marketing for another project. Oh, so yeah, okay, so he's saying exactly the same as what I said, especially one this small. Add into the equation that this is being asked performed by a team that can't market Dash effectively, and the whole thing seems rightfully absurd. Okay, so you started off with a good point and you ended with a unnecessary insult. So I would agree on this section. Maya are a small project, and this happens quite a lot in crypto, especially in DAOs. Well, no, it just happens in crypto. I guess it probably happens in life, but people never want to partner with the little guy. They always want to partner with the big guys, but the big guys don't want to partner with you. Do you know what I mean? So, okay, my protocol is not Uniswap, but let's see Dash go and partner with Uniswap and let's see how far they get. Obviously they can't for technological reasons, but you get my drift. Like the giant players in the crypto space aren't going to partner with you. So you partner with the smaller players and you watch the smaller players become bigger players. We done that with Binance when we was at PIVX. We got listed on Binance when they first started out. Oh, this guy, he's really good. Let's go and get listed with him. He's got a nice up and coming thing. Okay, we'll go and get listed, pay a little bit of money or whatever. Okay, yeah, fine. Oh, but the amount of trading getting done on this little exchange is tiny. Who cares about Binance? And then Binance got big, and now Binance is massive. PIVX is still on there, and there's no way they would be able to afford to get on there today. So, whilst I respect this guy's opinion, I would have to say that you don't just only team up with the good guys. I think that's glory hunting, and that's not sure. It shouldn't be what Dash and especially partnerships are about. Whether or not to give him a -1 point, I will speak on that as well, because I feel like without this last line, add into the equation that is being asked from a team that can't market Dash effectively, and the whole thing is rightfully absurd. Without that last line, I wouldn't downvote him. Take that last line into account, I would downvote him. I think that it's I think it's just rude. So that there's not really any need for it. There's not really any need for it because this is marketing Dash, and so yeah, it's as my friend would like to say, it's a logic fail first and foremost. A fail of logic, and secondly, it's just rude. So, okay, enough of that. Let's move on. Who we got next? Let's check how we're doing for time. Oh gosh, where the time goes sometimes. Okay, PIVX. We've got a core development proposal. This one we done one last episode with my friend Liquid. He did say that he is still talking to me. He will still buy me, a little birthday present or, Christmas present or whatnot. So luckily I haven't quite burnt that bridge despite my best efforts. But let's see if we can burn this one with Allesandro, who I don't actually know. Okay, so Allesandro, first things first, he's put in a proposal for 25,000 PIV, which at the time of recording, let's say, is around 11,000, maybe 10,000 US dollars, give or take. So around $10,000 for this guy, and he is going to be developing, right? Okay. Unlike Liquid, he has aligned his text to the left like an adult. So that's one good proposal. It's like almost get my credit card out and start smashing it against the camera and say, take my money. The proposal is a continuation of one that he's done before and will cover my development costs for the month of April, and I will work mainly on deterministic masternodes on the core wallet and continue the shield support for my PIVX wallet. Now, the shield support for my PIVX wallet, to me, makes PIVX relevant again. It's one thing to have arguably the strongest privacy in crypto borrowed from Zcash, but if you could have that on mobile, I think that takes you away from the other projects in the sector. Sorry, I'm gonna have to turn this off. The other projects in the sector, which are Monero, etc., etc. So we don't quite know what type of phone you're going to require for shield support on my PIVX wallet. The idea is it's on a light wallet, so you're going to have like real privacy on a light wallet. I've been hyping about this for years, and we have never really got it in any meaningful way. We came very close with PIVX, and then the actual privacy protocol broke anyway. So shield support for my PIVX wallet would mean you can have private transactions on your mobile device, which means you can take your private transactions with you, which I think is great if you want to go to a place where, I don't know, men or women dance and take their clothes off. You want to pay, but you don't want anyone to find out that you was there paying for people to take their clothes off. You can do that. So the monthly update regarding shield support, him and Dino finally agreed to create a fully working Rust library that can interact with the PIVX core wallet. It can generate shield addresses following the zip32 protocol, serialize and deserialize PIVX core shield transaction. Okay, so there's a bunch of really highly technical dev stuff that these guys have been doing. He's also been working on the deterministic masternodes, which I feel is less exciting, much less exciting to me. And proof of stake aside, I guess, is not as much of a achievement as shielded support for my PIVX wallet. He's also found a vulnerability in the voting system and continued his integration of seed phrases in the core wallet. He's got a list of his PRs, which can be found here. If we go into PIVX, these are the pull requests that he has done. Perfect. Okay, so these were the things that I asked Liquid to do, and it seems like Allesandro has listened to my demands. I was going to call them requests, but they're demands. You better do it. And he's done it, so it's working out well. He's also put together a possible roadmap, which was something I also asked from Liquid. So I guess this guy literally just is going straight from the Cryptosy playbook. Shielding, deterministic masternodes, and he's got the relevant Dash improvement proposals. So he's going to be going in the same way that Dash have already done it. So it should be done. Okay. And a lot of this has already been done, it looks like. Done by the old devs. So they've done half, and he's done half. Assuming all four of these pieces are of equal amount of work. I'm wanting to crack a joke about the old devs, but I don't think I will. They've done a good job. Okay, what did the community think? We've only got one comment on this. Nice to be able to read the progress and have detailed info on this proposal. He's tagged him in and he's put the thing. This is Sean. He's the graphics guy. Okay, so yeah, let's do the old obligatory pros and cons. The pros are obviously shield support for my PIVX wallet is essential. I think it's possibly the most important thing being worked on. Bugs with the governance, they also need to be fixed. The governance is, I don't want to call it a mess on PIVX, but it could be better. They need a little bit more distribution. There's some heavy-handed whales, and that's not something that can be fixed with code. but the things that can be fixed with code probably should be fixed with code. If the bug is the bug which I am aware of, then it is a bug that is activated by heavy-handed whales. It may be a different bug. I have no idea what the bug is actually. That's a massive speculation on my part. Deterministic masternodes, yep, all well and good. I don't really personally care for them, but that's only because I don't really know what the good parts, or I don't remember what the good parts of them are. I have been told, and it just didn't stick. The cons, lots of overlap with other proposals. Like I said before, it does feel like you're paying for the same work over and over again. But if these things aren't finished in a 1 month turnaround, then that's what's going to happen, because some of these people are charging on salary, and some of them are charging on task work based on them completing a certain feature, a certain project. I would like if someone took the lead. I would love it if there was a lead dev on one of the 4 of them. I guess there is now: Liquid, Dodino, Allesandro. Oh, I guess JS Kitty as well. Fuzzballs. I would love it if one of them took the lead and put in a lead dev proposal, organized meetings between them, and was able to say, this is what this person's doing, this is what that person's doing, this is what the other person's doing, in one concise place with one concise proposal. They could then put in their own proposals if they wanted to. They would probably be more likely to pass because the lead dev says this is what they're doing, and we generally have to trust that the devs know what they're doing, because it's a highly technical role. It's not something that any old person can appraise, not even me with my mighty brain. So yeah, for me, this one is going to be a yes. The pros far outweigh the cons. It does push PIVX over its budget allocation, but I guess the shortfall will have to be made up by the whales. They're the ones who stand to gain the most, so they should be the ones who put in their hands into their pockets first. Yes, whales, I'm talking to you. Put your hands in your pockets. Pay the man. And yeah, we're going to go with a yes for that, and we're going to move on. So thank you for this proposal. Let's just say thank you to this proposal to Allesandro. And also, don't forget, if you feel like I'm missing a point or anything, like, you can comment in the comment section below. You can use it to say, okay, I like this, what you said, I don't like that, what you said, etc., etc. You can, we can discuss it. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, this one is a non-controversial controversial one. This one could have been very controversial had the right things occurred, but they didn't. So this proposal is to disable the conversion for previously registered USK. The wording of this is quite confusing. All right, so it doesn't really explain to me exactly what it was. So I had to do some digging. So first of all, what is USK? USK is a token that was on the Evmos network, which is a stable coin. The USK is a stable coin. I forget what the acronym stands for. But the issue was the USK was a stable coin which was closed source. So they put all their stuff together. They're on another network, on the IBC, and they wanted to be able to bridge from that network over to Evmos and be fully used on Evmos. Now, the token is closed source, so it's a stable coin that is closed source. The two things for me shouldn't really go together. In fact, on that one, you can argue with yourself. It shouldn't be closed source. If you do think it should be, you can argue with yourself. And then the Evmos community, which was quite common sense, just they haven't used it. None of the protocols that are on Evmos have bothered to incentivize the usage of this particular stablecoin, and thus it's got no usage and it's still closed source. And so they've moved this, which is effectively a call to kick USK from Evmos. I want to call it kick. If you disagree, the procedure, go down into the comments below. But yeah, I'm calling it they're kicking USK from Evmos. Evmos community don't care. This could have been controversial had anybody have minted it, but the actual minted amount is 0. I think. Oh, you can't actually see it here. Okay, well, let's look at the proposal. I don't like this proposal, although obviously I'm going to vote yes. I did vote yes. I don't like this proposal because it's far too short, and the wording is far too. It assumes that you know the background, so it assumes that you know the background, and it shouldn't really assume that. Oh, here we go. What are the risks? It says there's all far reasoning. This is not a good. And to think that this proposal was put forward by the actual Evmos DAO team, this is a terrible proposal for them. This is terrible. They should do better than this. Risks, there are no risks. Yes, they should cover the risk. There aren't any converted USK on the EVM. Check it out for yourself. Right. So let's do that. Obviously there aren't now because now it's moved. But was there before? No, 0 transactions. So nobody used it because there's no reason to use it. Let's get back to. Oh, okay. We didn't actually move. Oh, that was it. The United States dollar on Kujira. Kujira is another IBC chain. So yeah, so the one con I would have, well, we'll do the cons first, then we'll do the pros after, is that I just feel like this is just a bit too short. I think they should say why we don't want to use it. They should say about the issues that there are with this particular closed source project. There was also another issue with people being able to mint as many of them as they can, as they feel like. Not anybody. The owners of the contract could just mint them out of thin air, which means you can get rug pulled. Because what would happen is they would say, "Oh, we lost those keys to someone hacked us or someone social engineered us, took those keys away and printed 10 billion of these USK, and then that means your USK is worth nothing." You know how it goes. So there's just quite a few red flags about this project. There's a few things. They've put out some tweets. The tweets read horribly. I should have linked to them. I think I can actually. Let me find them quickly. They did put out some tweets, and the tweets read absolutely horribly. They were just really saying that they're not going to they're not going to be bullied into opening up their source code. If I look here, I should be able to find it. Yeah, they said they're not going to be bullied into opening up their source code, and then a few months later they've turned around and said, "Oh yeah, do you know what? Actually, we will open up our source code." So it's just, I don't know, it just kind of feels like they're not really sure if they're coming or going. I don't think I'm going to be able to find this tweet. What I'll do is I'll put a link to, here we go. I think I found it. Yeah. So there was a USK owner can mint. A guy called Larry, the engineer, made a video that showed that could be done. And then they put, yes, here we go. Here's the tweet. Here is the tweet. Okay. They didn't want to put out an official statement because it'll only cause, but due to the request of a few community members or just a few point, blah, blah, blah. Important, our position has been identical. Absolutely nothing changed. We've always been clear and transparent about how we do things at Kujira, including being opened or closed source. And then there's some other stuff. Developers can check that what's in the docs is actually deployed by interacting with these docs and the chain. They've got lots of documentation. There was a line in here that said we won't be bullied into opening up the source. I really wanted to find it. So they've only seen, do you think closed source is the way? Okay, here we go. Will these certain contracts always be closed sourced? The answer again is no. Touching on the above tweet again, we will be opening up various contracts as we go, but don't have a timeline just yet. And as Will pointed out, we don't do it purely out of being bullied. Okay. So to wrap up, those guys, because even when I read that, it annoys me. So to wrap up, those guys, it looks like their history on Evmos. But best of luck to them. Some developers in open source industries do want to keep their code closed source because they're scared people will copy them. It's interesting when they're building on stuff that, you know, has been copied by someone else from someone else. But, you know, all of that clear hypocrisy aside, for me, I'm happy with this one. I'm happy with the fact that the Evmos community said yes in abundance. Quite a few abstains, but I don't know if these abstains are just bots, because it seems to always be a certain amount of abstains. So quite a few people are kind of like, well, I don't give a damn. I guess the people who say no would say, closed source or not, it's up to the people who are using it if they want to trust to use it or not. I guess that would be the only reason to say no. I don't think it's just because they were closed source that people decided to remove them. It's just, you know what? I've done quite a bad job of explaining this. So they've moved them, they've kicked them, but that doesn't stop them from at a later date re-registering the new token. And let me just check, because no, it hasn't happened yet. And this did end some 4 days ago. I was just going to check to see if they had put up a thing to convert the new token, but they haven't, and I bet you no one does. I guess that was. I don't really see the point in the nose then, to be honest with you. Okay. Anyway, I like that generally it does seem like the Evmos community rally around open source ideals. They weren't. I don't want to say foolish enough, but I will say they weren't foolish enough to actually use this particular stable coin. The cons, I can't really think of any. I generally like the adage, don't trust, verify. They say that you can verify by doing this, that, and the other, but no, just open source the code. Otherwise, whatever. I voted yes. That one was easy for me. As soon as I got to grips with what the question was, which took the longest time and should have been included within the proposal. As soon as I got to grips with what the question was, it was an easy decision for me to make. And let's move on to the last of the proposals, which is Aavegotchi. I really don't like this style. You know, I grew up having graphics like this, so I don't feel nostalgic going back to Spectrum days. I feel like, oh, get me out of here. But it's a nice project. Obviously, they've got a lot of interaction. They've got the mighty Aave propping them up, and they've got a decent sized DAO, as we saw earlier, using the pass, which is a great little tool for looking at what they own, also what they own in their treasury. So you can see that they also got a tiny bit of Matic, a decent amount of Alpha and FUD, Keck, FOMO, decent amount of USDC, massive amounts of DAI. And obviously their own token Ghost, which they've got decent amounts of, but I doubt if the liquidity would hold up for them to dump all of that if they needed to, whereas the DAI definitely would. Well, providing the banks that hold it don't decide not to give it to them, or the Americans decide not to let them have it. It's all very all these decentralized stable coins that are actually centralized. Media team funding for Aavegotchi. So the Aavegotchi, which is like a little NFT game, you go and you feed your little pet, you interact with it, and it levels it up. And as it levels it up, you get a stronger little pet. It's apparently pretty addictive stuff. I didn't get one, although I wanted to. I can't remember what. I got sidetracked by something one day when it was coming out. Full disclosure, I don't own this, as you know. So what they want to do is they want to fund. The author is Heafy, who is one of the people in this team. They have got a link to their Discord thread. They did have a meeting, and what they did say is that they want the media team to receive funding to continue their operation. The media team gets funded 24 weeks at a time, which is, I don't know, almost 6 months. And I really like this proposal. I'll say it right off the bat. I really like this proposal. I like the way it's broken down. What they do is they discuss who all the team members are. There's Heafy, there's Not Future. I think he's called Not Futuristic. There's Hardcore. There's Zombie Shepherd. So those are the four team members. He also outlines their deliverables, so what they're going to do. Organize discussions, connect with potential partners to present, test DAO tooling, assist in formatting DAO proposals, relaying feedback. This is quite interesting because this is not really about being a media team, but it probably is good to have people on the media team branching out and doing that. There is some crossover though, which I must say, there is some crossover with another proposal, which is to have this proposal here, which is not the proposal I'm covering, by the way. It's the proposal which is very much, people are very much on the fence with this one, which is really interesting. So they want to have a DAO steward team, which will be responsible for doing some of these types of things, building, operating a DAO dashboard, having a monthly treasury report. I don't know if you need a monthly treasury report. You can just go to the pass, or you can go to Zappa.5. It's quite easy to see what's happening with the treasury. But in a custom built place, I think it would be pretty good. And yeah, they're asking for one-time grant of $7,000 of $2,500 monthly, which is quite low considering their team has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. I'm assuming that the front end and back end people will take their money out of the one-time grant to build the necessary things. And the other people will be on a ongoing basis, content publishing, socials, technology writing, content writing. I think they'll be ongoing. There doesn't seem to be anybody there like a business development or people to actually take on the role of helping people to format good proposals, which is something that Heafy has said that he or she would do. I'm quite certain it's a he. No future hardcore. I'm not going to go through what each one of them says they're going to do. They're asking for around, total budget is 27,600 Ghost, which, as we can see here, is 38,000. Well, let's call it 40,000 US dollars. To have their media team done. Now, the one bad side that I didn't really like about this proposal, that it doesn't include any funding for marketing drives. You know, quite similar to the Dash proposal where they asked for $200,000 to actually pay to have their thing promoted on a particular platform. There isn't that here. It's just to pay people to have calls, etc., etc. But those calls are only going to benefit from organic reach. I would like it if they added some, but they may do those separately, as the people from Dash have done. So if that is the case, they should say, but they haven't said. They should say we may come back later to ask for more to pay to promote on certain platforms. They haven't actually said that. They've said how they're going to pay. I like how they're going to pay. They're going to pay 50% up front, and then at the end of the term, which is 24 weeks, quite a long term, they're going to then pay out another 50%. So less than 24 hours after the call proposal passes, they should pay out the first 50%, sorry. And then within 72 hours of the 24-week period concluding, they'll pay out the next 50%. Now, we're assuming these people do what they're supposed to do. They've also included their Ethereum addresses. Some of them are like this guy, Zimtimo. Some of them, if I go Zapper, let me go Zappify. They're actually accounts that you can. They're actually accounts that you can just go and look up. So you can just go and look up the account, and I don't know why you would do that, but privacy is non-existent for some of these guys. But I like that because they're putting themselves out in the public eye. You get to know what they're into, and you know that they're not going to rug you because this is them. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not a new team. They have been doing this for I think they've already had 6 months. Well, at least 6 months under this format. So for me, I like that it's a continuation. I like that this is a pretty concise proposal, albeit quite long. They've got through a lot of information. I like that they've done it before. The community seems to like it. There's a tiny portion of them that want to see the funding get ceased. I don't really know why. For me, I'd like it. I like the fact that Heafy also goes around to helping DAO proposals and helping with the feedback. I like that. So for me, I can't think of any cons. No cons spring to mind. They don't really speak about their interaction with other departments, other DAO funded elements. There's not really much discussion on that, but I don't know if there really should be. I'm kind of clutching at straws. And yeah, like I said before, there's no discussion about payment on different social media platforms. I'm going to vote yes. Aavegotchi is one of those DAOs that I think everyone should look into. If you're interested in DAOs, I think it's well worth looking into. It's somewhat light-hearted, which is good. Obviously, it's based around the game, but it's they are active and the community is active. And as we could see on here, they a lot of people do vote. They do have a very active governance. This really is. Before we go, the pass really is a great utility. It really is a great utility. You can see, like, the way that these are laid out, you can see how the voting is going, how many people are voting, and with what type of weight, or how many different wallets, I should say, because one person may have multiple wallets. So the DAO one is pretty close, 52% to 48%. That's like almost neck and neck. Oh, there's a duplication here. So that's the same thing twice. I don't quite know why. Don't know what's happening there, actually. That's quite interesting. And there's the other proposals that have already finished, including the test one and how long ago they finished. So yeah, okay. So to wrap up, thanks for watching. Congratulations on getting this far. This has been one of the shorter episodes, but we covered quite a lot. We covered Dash. We decided to vote yes to having this $20,000 on Brave advertising. We then went on to PIVX, and again, we decided to vote yes. I think we got 4 yeses this time. Yeah, we got 4 yeses. We decided to vote yes for a core developer who is possibly, I'm going to go out on a limb, and you Monero guys can hate me all you want, bring in the strongest usable privacy tool in crypto, Zcash on mobile. We then went on to Evmos. I'm happy with what the Evmos gang decided. I'm glad that the no's got crushed. It's nice to have an Evmos proposal that's not quite as dramatic as the other ones have been in recent times. The chain has somewhat quietened down since they raised the threshold. There seems to be less wild proposals. Outside of the box proposals, there seems to be less of them. I don't think that's a good thing. Obviously, we had the community support in the last episode, and that didn't pass, and that I was gutted about that. So this time, I'm happy with Evmos. This episode, I can't call the Evmos community idiots like I did call them last time. I got some stick for that, only a little bit though. And finally, we went on to Aavegotchi, which is we're a very active DAO, one of the biggest DAOs that there are on Ethereum, or Polygon and Ethereum, and therefore one of the biggest DAOs that there are in the world, 14th according to the pass. And upon that proposal, they voted to continue their media team. So let's just, before we go, have a final look at them down there in 14th. So for our next episode, I guess we'll do one of the top 5. So we'll either do Flamingo or Illuvium, as we've already done Decentral DAO. ENS DAO, I can see that being boring. And Yield Games, looks like they don't do any proposals. Oh, so it's going to be Illuvium. There you go, because Flamingo don't do any proposals either. So the next one is going to be Illuvium or Super Rare DAO. Maybe ApeCoin. We've done ApeCoin already. Thanks for watching. Please smash the like button. I never say smash the like button. Subscribe, share. If you work for one of these projects, or you work for another DAO and you want me to cover your DAO in the next episode, you can find me on Twitter at crypto_SI, or you can leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching.